Hi, good morning. My question would be specific to Sir Diam. Hi, hi, sir. Movie making module is interesting, and putting inputs to how to make it sustainable in the production process was really good. Well, my concern is in the post-production process, movies or any multimedia material has an effect if it goes viral, if it gets a bigger audience. It has an effect to gather people to go to that place. Like, for example, the movie, that thing called Tadhana, it boosted tourism in Sagada region. While it also increased their economic opportunities, it also increased the environmental stress for, for the locality. Like, they have increased gas in hotels and so on and so forth, transportation. Now, knowing this effect in tourism and increasing the stress in the environment from movies, how would you integrate this into your module that our future filmmakers will also consider in selecting the sites and ecological impacts to the environment? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Toring, for that question. Actually, sir, thank you for bringing that up because it's actually one of the case studies that I was thinking about and trying to plan for discussion for the CNM 3203 Producers Workshop. That how the movies can be influential in motivating people. And then, like you said, that in that thing called Hana, it put the spotlight on the Sagada province, and then there was like a very big uptick or boost over the tourism. But then it also had that kanang environmental impact that was also documented through social media pod, showcasing lagi na people went to Sagada because they want to have their Tadhana moment, and then but yeah, they did not clean as they go went there. So the way that I'm sort of like conceiving the integration of those case studies is to again is to have the students just be really mindful of their choices, whether they'll be for creative or for practical or technical, the choice of equipment that they will use, and then what I think that will be part of the discussion for producers in terms of the narratives of the projects, and that it even starts in when I teach screenwriting, because I'm also teaching screenwriting for the sophomore year, and it's actually there's an sort of like an alignment of the courses from second year screenwriting 1, screenwriting 2, then production management and producing, because I'm developing my students in the cinema program to really be conscious and mindful for every step of the process. So it also starts really with the narrative. If you're gonna, if someone is gonna write a story set in, and then parts discussion as part something discourse in producing lagi is that setting can be quite an X factor in storytelling. So I plan to use the case study of that thing called Dadhana, the 2011 film on how impact on Sagada as a case study, so that students in the producing class will be well aware that for one, movies do have impact. They have influence. They compel people. They make impact, and that they should be mindful and take care about it. And then there are ways lagi for us, for example, for producers, for production companies, to mitigate such impact, such influence. So what I have been sort of like conceiving, everything's still on the drawing board in this series of lectures. But what I have been conceiving is about discussing that knowing these events do happen based on these case studies, then how can the production company can mitigate and then also take advantage of it? So one way would be, parts top of my head, would be that there should be also like this kind of plan similar to the checklist, the production environmental actions checklist that I just shared. There's also the Albert by the British Association for Film and Television and Arts, the Albert checklist. They provide information of scenarios that could happen towards sustainability. But again, one way is like production companies can, like for example, if I were the production company behind that thing called Hana, I would have been mindful. If I were the producer of that thing called Hana, I would be also mindful that the impact the movie can possibly make on Sagada, its environment, and its peoples and its communities. And then maybe coordinate with the Office of Tourism to help kind of mitigate. I could also have the cast and crew do mga PSAs, public service announcements, reminding people to when they visit Sagada to take care of Sagada, to maintain those, because other media productions have done that before in decades past. So parang, but the thing is, the thing kasi is that the problem kasi with films like that thing of Tadhana is that producers are short-sighted and they only see the production and they only can see ultimately up to distribution exhibition, where they hopefully regain their investment, they gain their money. In the cinema program, especially for the producing workshop, I extend that attention not just up to exhibition distribution, but towards beyond that, towards scholarship, archiving, and eventually impact on these films. Because I, for one, being the reason why I'm a teacher at the and also as a practitioner is because I love movies very much, because I know it's in these my favorite movies impact on my lives, and I feel it's very much the same for everyone else. So I hope that answers your question, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Turing.
I have two questions for different speakers, if that's fine. I'm a Mayahan, a filmmaker, a film producer. Been based in Manila for 11 years, but now I'm back in the Vismin scene. I was a alumni also of the cinema program here. My first question goes to Sir DM, then my second goes to the Sugpu Seed Archive. But first, for Sir DM, like actually, since I've been in Manila industry for some time, but we've never practiced pitch there, unfortunately, even though Manila should be the bigger brother. But in the Cebu scene, at least, since I just came back, I'm not familiar if there are movements here. Are there like plans to localize the pitch guidelines here, at least officially or legally speaking? And that's a question, sir.
So thank you for that question. So that's basically part of my initiative since I sort of like got into sustainability practices last year. I started integrating sustainability practices when I first started teaching Introduction to Production Design. So basically production design for motion pictures. So throughout the course, the students were learning how to, the principles like reusing, recycling, and so forth. And towards their final project, the students were supposed to produce a maquette or a diorama or a scene design, a scene model made up of mga materials they can find at their home, including waste materials. Even to the point na the adhesive they use was essentially rice paste. Yung tipong mga one student, or actually a couple of student groups, what they did is for an adhesive, they get the day-old rice and then they sort of like recooked it, reboiled it to generate the sticky adhesive-like material for that, and use that as a replacement for Elmer's glue or Scotch tape. So that's I was like very much both delighted and surprised at how creative our students are in coming up with sustainability practices. Ideally, they're really low cost, and the models were very decent in terms of that. So as far as I know, I'm still the one pushing for that, and I hope lagi I will continue doing that and maybe extend this initiative with my other colleagues, and also not here in the university, but also elsewhere pod. So I haven't had yet a conversation. But regarding, it's just, I think it will take some effort, but it will be quite doable to adapt. Because again, the Peach framework and also the Albert, they're just essentially questions and reminders. And then these can be applicable not only for productions for motion pictures, but also any form of project or production, even event production management can employ these frameworks to make sure that their production overall have established their own sustainability goals, and then individually the team members, the people involved in the production, they'll be both informed and made aware of these concerns regarding sustainability. So it's still starting on my end and what
Okay,
from my door.
thank you, sir. That's good to know. I hope like there's a lot of professors here, especially in the media. I hope it gets like spread around. 'Cause, I don't really notice it in Manila scene, even if there's a lot of film schools there. For the question for the Cebu Seed Archive, I know maybe there was just a lack of time, maybe it wasn't discussed, but beyond the launch phase, what's the long-term sustainability plan for the platform? And then, like, how do you see the local and the international partnerships for it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll speak first and I'll give the mic to Taylor. Yeah, we will have like data gathering this July. And yeah, it's very crucial. Although we get funded for this project, one is from Central Visayas Study Center, UP Cebu. And of course, it has to be sustainable if you want your research to continue. And through Taylor, are able to source funding from Columbia Science and Society supporting digital humanities project. And of course, it's diminishing because we do some, we have already started developing the project, of course, involving already the 4 organizations. So we are very active in secure and applying for more proposals for more funding. And yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. That's a big thing. You don't want to parachute in and then leave. We are committed to giving our labor, like obviously for free, and everyone that we work with is paid. So in the future, we're already talking about some new iterations. Like one is kind of figuring out a way to get users of the site, if they want to produce videos and content linked to the inventory. And another thing we're looking at is the possibility of like community-led annotation. So it like really is a living archive. But all of that obviously needs funding. And yeah, so we're in that stage where I feel like a lot of people understand where you're kind of straddling two temporalities and two materialities. So we're working on the conceptual, logistical parts of the September launch. But yeah, we're committed long term. And yeah, we're also talking about maybe integrating it into some of the master's students or undergraduate students. But yeah, it's a combination of free labor and grifting or funding, as we like to call it. Yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you so much.
And I have a question to Dean Krina. I'm actually curious lang, and I love the proposal since it's still ongoing. For context lang, I'll be sharing to everyone since we're discussing about the food insecurity here in Cebu, no? And around the world, even here in Cebu, we're actually experiencing some dilemma in terms of food waste. So in that aspect, how might the study integrate the aspect of food waste, or let's say including it in the narratives of, for example, you've explored earlier about the stories behind the kamote. So like at the end of the narrative, at the end of the interview or whatnot, perhaps the study could explore what's next of kamote if this is not being consumed, or if the consumers are napulan, or like they don't like anymore the or maybe the kamote production are a lot, and this I believe this initiative could also be informative and advocacy, and it will serve as advocacy materials for livelihood vendors to also explore the next steps. Or maybe some of our livelihood vendors have initiatives on this, so it might as well be nice to have to be documented.
thank you so much, Vince. Vince is our empath graduate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, the research has started with the concept of food security or insecurity. And since there's a lot of things to explore about that concept, it has shifted to seed sovereignty until, because still seed sovereignty is still limited. So we put these concept under food system. So it's bigger. So in that food system, of course, it refers, it's a process, or a network of a lot of activities, actors, processes. So that would involve food disposal or food waste, no, from inputs, food production, consumption, preparation, until food waste. The last, yeah, we haven't explored that. Again, it will grow. The research will grow. We would also consider that aspect. So more siya, it's like a seed, no? It grows. There's so many branches. So food waste is always, yeah, it's a part of the food system. So yeah, thank you for that suggestion.
Thank you so much, Dean Trina. So maybe could also trigger policies in Cebu City and then the
Yeah,
province.
so scaling up, that's policy. Bringing our stories, because in our website, there's also a lot of research. Now we are also collecting related literature, and it would be translated into research to policy, scaling up, scaling wide, and scaling down. So again, that's a motivation for the team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And Ms. Dean Trina. And speaking of policy, I would also like to ask a question to Prof. Barrios and team regarding the Katungan Eco Park, and I'm actually really amazed about it. And then recently, sir, no, na-recognize siya, I think, sa government, murag na-under na siya sa project sa government of the province of Iloilo. So how might we also integrate the narratives from your study to also influence since we have ProKIP na site development plan na si Katungan Eco Park. So these narratives could also help them explore as well the social structures, and then how the practices of those who live and then those who maintain the site in the Katungan Eco Park to really influence those narratives sa pag-create of policies, and then make sure na well-aligned, and then being aware, trying also to consider the voices of those who try to maintain the vicinity. Since Greenbelt na gid sir, no, ang Katungan Eco Park. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you po. On our behalf naman, regarding that, we actually established already the research and our theory way before ProKIP was already announced sa Laganes. So before ProKIP was announced, we already pitched this foundational theory sa preceding head ng Laganes Integrated Katungan Eco Park, so that they would also be able to use this theory in order to improve ang mga policies nila as well as ang activities nila. Because our main goal or the main aim of our theory was to create a community-centered approach to sustainability, and also including the community association to government decisions, and hopefully they would be more involved in the planning and the development of the eco park. So ayun po.
Sige, thank you. Perhaps, Sir John, no, pwede nyo ni ma-partner sa COPB Dani. Kasi ma-explore pa ang regarding the project.
Well, the concern of the group is really to develop this theory, no, and share to the community. So we're hoping to come up with PubMat, publication materials, to share to other regions. But we're in the process of applying for the intellectual property right of this theory to protect the authors also. So after that, then we're going to share the theory to the rest of the world.
Thank you so much, everyone, and congratulations.